What's up? I'm Amy Chella, and if you're a rapper or a singer, duet this. Either obey or you leave. Don't let them take a chance for your life. Fill your mind with that creed.
Kalvonix.
Shit gets dark, don't need the lights out.
Need to obey me, all you rappers pay me. Do this on the daily, spitting like an OG, cause you know I stay seasoned on the beat. Fire Michael Myers, I'm a killer when I speak. Kalvonix and Michella, magic like Cinderella. We go together like toast and a Nutella. No one do it better, shout out Rockefeller. Beat so hot, couldn't do this acapella.
Either obey or you leave. Don't let them take a chance for your life. Fill your mind with that creed. Shit gets dark, don't need the lights out. Either obey.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Two Beers with Van. I'm your host, Chris Schramm, and today I'm going to be talking with guess who? Mr. Kalvonix, yet once again. And today we're going to be talking about duets. It's something that I've known about, but I haven't really researched and I haven't really gotten into as of lately. Or until lately, and I've decided that it's something that I really enjoy. And when I see it come up on the socials, I try to tune in when I can just to see what's going on. But I thought I would bring in Mr. Calvonix, who is a pro with duets, and asking a few questions. And, as usual, gonna have me a little beer while I talk with Mr. Calvonix. But for those that don't know, introduce yourself and let them know what you're sipping on. And if you don't mind, tell them a little bit about that duet with Amy Chelha that we came in on.
For sure. So hey everyone, hopefully you're not sick of me by now. I feel like I'm pretty entertaining, so hopefully not. uh, yeah, so to anybody new who doesn't know me yet, I go by Kalvonix. I am a rapper, singer, writer, and I have cerebral palsy, so I walk with crutches and I roll around in a wheelchair, and I use music to express myself creatively, usually talking about my life, but I find inspiration in a lot of things such as entertainment and music. And if you want to know more about that, then feel free to check out my other interviews with this genius man right here. But yeah, and what you heard was a duet with one of my favorite rappers from Vancouver. Her name is Amy Chella. Shout out Amy Chella. She has made appearances on numerous albums of my albums at this point, and that song that you heard it's called Obey. It's from 2023. And It's funny. It's cool that we're talking about duets today because Amy Cello was actually the one that kind of introduced me to the whole concept of it, because I was aware of it before Amy Cello, but it was really Amy Cello that gave me the inspiration to start doing it myself. So it's really cool that I could shout out her and kind of let her know that she is the one that inspired me. Um, and then as for what I'm sipping on, I just got off work, so I'm pretty dehydrated after talking to many students at a university. So I'm just sipping on water today. I'll show you I have in my water bottle. It's my album cover. So here's Ego. And then if we turn, you got my previous album, Don't Come Back Here to Vibe. So I'm repping myself while sipping H2O.
Nice. Well, I am sipping on a Wizard's Order IPA from Tailgate Brewing here in Nashville. I've heard good things about it. It was new in the grocery store the other day. Thought I'd pick it up, and really interested in this beer. Buddy of mine told me, he said I needed to try it. He knows
Nice.
my taste in beer, and I'm an IPA guy, but not just overboard with IPAs. But
Right.
this one is a 6% ABV from Tailgate Brewery. Tennessee Craft Brewed is what it said. It's a really interesting can. And normally I don't talk about can art, but this one kind of, you would think Wizard's Order being the name of the beer that it would have something kind of wizardy, is that a word?
Mm.
About it,
Right.
but you really gotta look close. It has a little wizard over in the corner, but it seems like it's really focused on forest and on citrus fruit,
Mm.
which
Cool.
I don't know if that's, supposed to tell you something about the beer or not, but,
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and jump in, and, while I'm taking my first sip, can you tell the audience exactly what a duet is?
Sure. So I need to make the disclaimer. I don't consider myself a pro at duetting on TikTok, but have done quite a bit of them. And at least from my understanding of what it is and how I use it is on TikTok specifically. If you're an artist or if you just post a lot of content, you can there's a setting on TikTok that allows you to make your video a duet. So for example, if you post yourself singing a song and you allow people to duet your video of you singing, you're basically opening it up so that other people who make music or do anything creatively can collaborate with you and use your video to and add to it and put their own spin on it. And so it's basically like a way for you to do quick collaborations with each other just through the use of social media and have these little shorts where two artists who may not know each other even or ever get together in one room share that space creatively for 30 seconds to 1 minute.
Okay, is this only done in rap and hip hop?
I would say that's where it's most popular, just in the sense of like, I find with hip hop and the kind of genre it is, and because it's already one of the elements of hip hop is freestyling, right? So rapping free form, like something written or something pre-recorded already to a beat. So a lot of the duets I've seen are producers who make hip hop music who just have beats and they say rap on this, and then a bunch of rappers find that video and duet it. So I think that's where it's most popular, but I have seen duets in other genres as well, such as like pop music. Maybe there's like a pop artist who has a sings a chorus, a part of their song, and then another artist will sing the verse to that song. And you just hear different voices throughout. So I'd say that there's multiple genres that have used duets, but hip hop is definitely the most popular one.
All right, before I get to my next question, I want to talk about this beer a little bit.
Mhm.
It's very citrusy. Um, I mean, it's pretty good beer. It's not my favorite. It's not bad. I'm definitely gonna be drinking a few more of them.
Mhm.
This one has been sitting out for a little bit longer than I like, but it's not bad. It has pretty decent head retention, has good aroma. It's very fruit forward, very citrusy. Um, as you can see, it kind of looks like a little dark orange juice, and it pretty much tastes like dark orange juice. Um,
Mm.
it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. But it's 6%. Um, you can actually feel the 6% when you drink it. It is a little bit warmer than what I would like, but could be just me.
Mhm.
So, what is the point of a duet? If if someone who has never seen a duet and you were trying to explain to them what it was, what would be the point of doing the duet that you would tell that person?
Interesting. I think there's different points, at least for me, in the sense of like there's the point for the viewer's perspective, and then there's the point for the artist's perspective. So I think for the viewer's perspective, it's more so just if you like a certain song and somebody releases a duet for that song, then the viewer is able to click through all of the different duets that people have made for that song and hear different versions of their favorite song sung or rapped by different artists from around the world. And I think it's just a cool way to see how talented people are from around the world, different parts of the world, kind of adding their own spin to one song that you love. So I think there's a benefit in that way from a viewer standpoint. For me specifically as an artist, I mean, obviously I can't speak for the next artist, but I think I can speak for both Amy Chella and I in the sense that for me, I use it as a way to keep my pen sharp. So I'm not always recording music. There's times, especially in between albums or when I'm prepping for, like, for example, this album, I have an album called Mr. Nostalgia coming out, as some of you may know. And I'm not in the process right now of recording because right now I'm kind of gearing up for the rollout of this album. And so because I'm not recording, I'm not writing as much music right now. So there's going to be maybe months at a time where I've stepped away from the actual creating part of music. And so in these times, just because I want to make sure that I don't get lazy with the writing and I don't lose. I always feel like I don't, maybe it's not true, but at least I always feel like if I don't continuously write, I might lose the skill or I might lose the sharpness or the progression that I've built just by constantly releasing music. And so duets are a way for me to continuously practice my writing and practice my delivery and my rapping to just make sure that I keep myself sharp and ready to go whenever I'm ready to record again.
So when you hear a beat, you sit down with that beat and kind of let it tell you what it wants. Or since you're doing a duet with another artist, you
Mhm.
kind of follow their lead and put your own spin on it. How's that work?
Does that work? Yeah, I guess the thing with duets is it's pretty flexible in the sense of like some duets are made by artists who maybe already have lyrics to their song and then they allow space for whoever's duetting them to add to it. So in that sense, yes, what I usually do is I I connect with whatever they're saying and then I kind of put my own spin on it. So for example, there's one duet I did with an artist named Stacy Ryan, and one of her songs, the chorus to the duet was she was basically talking to like a ex-boyfriend, and it was basically like, please don't text me when you're drunk. And it's like talking about having this boyfriend that's always drunk and always disappointing her. So I took that idea and I rapped from the perspective of the boyfriend. So I always try to connect it in a way that makes sense just based on what's being said. And then in other times it's a little bit easier in the sense of the person that's doing a duet is a beat maker, like a producer. So sometimes it might just be a producer saying, "Hey, can you rap on this?" And then they play the beat, and then it just leaves you space to just rap whatever you want. And in that case, I usually just kind of listen to the beat over and over again, try to feel out what I think the beat's trying to say. I get this sense that whenever somebody makes an instrumental, they make it with a mood in mind and like a feel and like, I just feel like when you're listening to an angry beat or a sad beat or a happy beat. And so I always just try to get the mood of whatever I'm listening to, channel that, and then rap according to what the beat's giving out.
How many duets have you been a part of?
Ooh, if I had to guess, I would say I think I started in 2023. So I would say by this point, I'd say I at least have 50 available online right now.
50.
Yeah.
So someone can go to your socials and find all 50 of them, or they kind of split up between you and the artist.
Yeah, I mean, if I've duetted the artist, then it should appear on my page, and then they'll be tagged. So you should be able to find, like, whenever I do a duet, first and foremost, I usually find the duets on TikTok. So TikTok would be the main place to go if you want to see all my duets. But I've also started posting them on YouTube under the shorts section. So if you go under my YouTube channel, look at shorts, you'll find all my duets there too.
Okay, what's your YouTube channel and your TikTok?
TikTok is just Kalvonix, simple Kalvonix. And then YouTube is Kalvonix Music, one word.
All right. How do you choose an artist to do a duet with?
Oh, um, I guess I kind of treat it like any feature on an album. So I kind of just pick and choose what inspires me at the time. I find that, like, obviously, like I said, I don't want to speak for other artists, but I find that a lot of artists that I know that use duets, what they try to use it for, or I think maybe at least a piece of what they use it for, is engagement. So they usually find the latest duet. So for example, because we're in February 2026, they would try to find duets from February 2026. So it's the latest thing that's being pushed out to the algorithm. Um, I don't necessarily operate that way. I I've duetted videos that are like 2, 3 years old at the time. So it doesn't maybe make for the most engagement in the sense of it's an older video at that point. But for me specifically, because I see duets as just a way to just stay inspired, I look for the duets that inspire me, even if it's older. So I think for me, it's all just about, like, being, I guess, with an album, when you're making a song for an album, everything has to be kind of calculated because you're kind of making your own world. You're building a world, you're building the sonics and everything from the sequencing to the recording. Everything is kind of planned out and calculated. For duets, I try to make it more free for all, have fun, and maybe jump on songs that I wouldn't otherwise jump on professionally when I'm recording in the studio. So not only do I look for artists that I wouldn't maybe otherwise record with because they're so different from me, or I feel like it's too different. I also look for artists that I feel are kind of like a challenge. Like, if somebody were to see this just scrolling through their phone, they'd be like, oh, like, I didn't expect to hear a rapper on this. I think that makes it really fun for me to try to find ways I can rap on things that maybe shouldn't have a rapper.
Okay. When you duet with someone, how do you decide what energy or flow to bring to the duet?
Um, I think it just depends on who is putting out the duet. So I think some are better than others in the sense of the energy that they give off. Like, um, there's uh there's one, like, Stacey Ryan, I mentioned her. I don't even, like, I know that she makes her own music, and I have checked out some of her music, but I'm not too familiar with it. But I know her primarily for her duets because whenever she comes out with a duet, when it's the artist time to put their spin on whatever duet she has the most wild expressions. Like, if there's a drum on the beat, she'll make these faces of, like, as like somebody's rapping. Like, she'll be very animated with her faces. And I love that because that really gives me the energy that I need to do my thing on it and have fun. So Stacey Ryan's someone that I would say is a favorite of mine because she's very animated. And that's what I look for. Some producers too are very animated. There's one producer named Stormy Weather who, um, she her style is, she just makes beats, but before her beat, she'll just say, "Yo, can you rap on this?" And then she'll play the beat. And at the end of some of the beats, she'll be like, "I see you," right? So just as a pretend, because what will happen is, at the when we put it together, it's gonna feel like she actually just heard me in real time, and we're on like a live call, and it will say, "I see you." So in one of the duets that I used for her, one of the last words that I said, the last line I said was like, "Stormy weather, girl, do you see me?" and then right away she'll respond with, "I see you." So it's really cool. They kind of put it together that way. I don't think many artists like think that intricately about duets, but I'm a nerd that way. I love making things work like that.
Well, do you try to match the other artist's energy, or do you try to contrast their energy on purpose to kind of add your own little spin to
Right.
it?
I think it just depends on the mood once again that I feel like the song is asking for. So, for example, that one with Stacey Ryan where she was talking about her boyfriend always being drunk, the subject matter is very can be very dark and be very sad, but the actual tune was very uplifting and it was very like happy sounding. So when I started to rap on it, if you listen to that specific one, it's like I'm apologizing to her for being such an asshole, but I'm also rapping it in a very happy way. So it's like a um it's like a juxtaposition with what I'm saying with how I'm delivering it, and I think that's why I love music so much because it's all about how someone hears the music. Like, people can hear that and kind of bob their head to it and dance along and be happy, but if you actually listen to what I'm saying, I'm apologizing to her, and it's kind of a dark thing. I love that. I love juxtaposition in music so much.
How do you show other artists respect, but still make it your own when doing a duet?
Um, I think for me, it's, um it's just about how I approach any collaboration. So, as I've talked about in a previous interview with you, like, if you listen to any of my albums, all of my albums pretty much have a lot of features on them, and that's because I've never been afraid to reach out and just ask for a feature and see if they're willing to operate in my world, and so for me, it's whenever I ask somebody to get on one of my songs, I don't want them to ever feel like they have to change who they are for my sake. The reason why I asked them to get on a song of mine is because I love what they're doing as an artist and I want to bring that into my world. So I want them to feel 100% comfortable stepping into like a Kalvonix song, a Kalvonix world, so to speak, and live there comfortably. That's how I see duets. So for me, I want to see if I can find a way to make myself feel comfortable on something that would otherwise not be comfortable for me. I think that's the trick. And I think that's the challenge I always give myself as an artist because I truly believe that always pushes me forward creatively.
Well, as someone who's been on at least 50 duets of
Yeah.
other people, have
Mhm.
you ever put anything out on TikTok or YouTube and asked for people to duet you?
I haven't. That's honestly the next step that I'm thinking of. I guess I just haven't. It might be like a confidence thing because I haven't done it yet. I'm a little afraid to. So I'm kind of gearing myself up for it. I think I feel like I am gonna do it eventually. I just haven't found in my mind yet the right song that I would want people to duet. So once I have that, once I feel it out, then I'll for sure make one.
Has anyone ever contacted you after hearing or seeing your duet online and asked you to be a feature on that song on their album? If it was a song, obviously, that they hadn't released yet.
um That hasn't happened officially yet. Like, there's things that have been close to that. Like, I've gotten on duets that were like, a lot of artists, I guess one way that artists use duets, which I haven't mentioned yet, is contests. So sometimes artists are looking for a feature for their song, and so they use duets to see if they can find a feature and then connect with whoever they feel is best or whoever did it best.
Yeah.
And so I've definitely put my name in the ring there for several times for songs where it's like, "Ooh, I really like this song. I wanna be a feature." I haven't been chosen as the guy, to be the official feature yet, but, um, I guess the closest thing to that so far would be, um, I, uh I mentioned Stormy Weather being one of my favorite people to duet because I find the beats she makes are just always really moody moody in a way that just allows me to reflect and then also feel like a badass as I'm rapping. Honestly, like I love the mood she gives to her beats, and um she's went viral a couple times, like, way before I even knew how to duet. I saw her face just making duets, constantly as I'm scrolling my phone. So, I kinda see her as a celebrity in a way. I don't know if she feels that way, but I see her as a celebrity because she's just been on my timeline so many times, and I don't even know if she remembers who I am at this point, but I did duet one of her I've duetted her several times, but I did duet one of her most popular reels, a couple years back, and she, uh, she s she commented on it, and she put, like, flame emojis to show that she liked what I was doing, and that was really reassuring and really cool because it was like, "Wow, like, I was finally on her timeline. That's cool." So, yeah, I really like that, and I just think things like that, as long as I always practice and preach persistence, right? So I'm always being consistent too, and always putting out music and duets, and hopefully one day I'll get to be the official feature because of a duet. That's the goal.
Do you think this is a good way for you to expand your brand, duetting someone else's song and getting exposure on their social media?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a cool way to network too. Like I like I said, I don't always connect personally with the artists that I'm duetting. And I'm sure even artists who are viral, they get so many people duetting their stuff that it's impossible for them to connect with everybody. But I do think it's a very cool way for artists to not only practice their art in real time and just kind of like make something quick, but also it's a way for artists to kind of look through all of the different duets too. Like, just because I did a duet with one video doesn't mean that's the only one that I'll see. Like, I'll watch other people's duets of that video that I just to see, like, did they do it better than me? And if they did, how did they do it better than me? And or did I do it better than this person? Just to see what the competition is like, even because as a rapper, there's always the competitive side too of like wanting to always be the best one. So I always look through and see different artists, and I think artists do the same. They always are looking for new people to either compete with or be collaborative with or just connect with. Um, so I think it's a good networking opportunity that I feel not all artists are taking advantage of, which I feel like, we're in 2026, you can do this. So it's very easy. I feel like artists can do this and it's a good way to practice your art too.
You said you watch the duets and you see if an artist did better than you or you did better than another artist.
Yeah.
What would make is there an artist out there that you feel has done better than you on more than one duet? And
Yeah.
and why have they done better than you? In your opinion.
Right. Of course. It's a simple answer. The answer is Amy Chella. Amy Chella has done multiple of the same duets that I've done, and she's done better than me 95 to maybe 100% of the time. And to me, that's just simply because I love Amy Chella, and I just feel like her talent is one to none. Like, and that's just, and I say this all the time. Like, I don't. Sometimes I feel like maybe she's thinking like Calvin's my friend. Of course, he's gonna say that, but no. Like, I was a fan of hers before we became friends. So, yeah, I just think her delivery is so effortless. I find for me, I have to practice a lot. Like, I go over and over and over and over again before I actually record myself duetting. And I'm not saying that Amy Chella doesn't do that too, but I just feel like whenever she raps, it's so effortless how she does it, and I'm working on improving that so it appears effortless to me, or at least feels like it.
Do you think that duetting is a skill a good hip hop artist should have?
Um, Not necessarily duetting, like, well, because I think duetting at the end of the day for me, it's a freestyle. So the key aspect of duetting is you're kind of freestyling. Like I think a lot of people in the hip hop space confuse freestyling with off the dome or off the top. So freestyling doesn't necessarily mean you didn't pre-write the verse. You can still pre-write a verse and have it freestyle. What a freestyle is, for example, if I wrote a verse today, like if I wrote a verse right now in the next like 3, 4 to 5 minutes, and then you played me a beat that I've never heard before, and I'm able to rap over that beat, that's still considered a freestyle, even though it was pre-written. So I think duet, duet is a cool modern day techie version of practicing your freestyle skills because it really allows you to even take something you've written 2, 3 years ago. If you have a verse on your phone that you've never recorded, you've never put out, but it's been sitting on your phone, and then you hear the beat on a duet video that you feel like it will work really well for that beat, then it's a cool way to really put that to the test and show people that that verse is fire. So I think it's like I said, it's a good way to keep your pen and your skills and your craft sharp.
Is duetting only done with lyrics? Do you think it is possible to do something like this with music? Like someone could create a beat and ask other musicians, other producers to get on that beat and duet the beat or add other instruments to that beat.
For sure. I think I don't think it's as popular, but I definitely have seen things like that. So I've already seen duets, I think, where, for example, maybe there's just a beat and then somebody does a guitar solo over it. Like I've seen things like that before. It like I said, it's less common, but it definitely is possible and has been done. So yeah, I think duets can be anything. Even um like I've seen duets where it's like somebody says a line from The Office, for example, and then the person that duets that person says the next line from that episode. So it's like you're kind of constantly building off of each other. So it could even be possibly a good way for actors to practice delivery and lines and things like that. I just think it's a creative way to collaborate.
Is there some sort of ownership to a duet? Like, for example, could you use a duet that you've done of another artist's song in one of your songs?
Um so what do you mean by that? Do you mean like taking like their lyrics or their song and putting it onto like my own original recordings?
Well, not necessarily their lyrics, but say, for example, you duet an artist's song and you go back and look at it later
Mhm.
and you really enjoy what you did. And
Mhm.
you have a song sitting up here that's kind of missing something. And
Okay.
then it just comes to you and you're like, I can pull that out of here and put it in this song. And now this song's complete. But does the artist that put the duet out there, or do they own that? Or is
Right.
there some sort of ownership to a duet? I guess
Right.
ultimately what I'm asking.
Fair enough. Yeah. I honestly you might get a different answer depending on who you ask, but at least for me, the way I see it is we own whatever we contributed to that specific duet. So for me, because I would be contributing my lyrics, those lyrics are still mine at the end of the day. So if I decided I wanted to use those lyrics from that duet and put it on a song, I can do that with no issue. Because I don't think the artist that's putting out the duet, if they're seeing my duet to their song, they're not they're viewing it like, oh, now this is mine. They're viewing it like, oh wow, this person like uh like freestyled or gave their time and talent to my song, but I don't think they at all view it like it's theirs now. So yeah, for sure. I think there actually has been times already where I have I came up with a very witty line where I'm like, "Ooh, I like that," and then I ended up putting it on a song of mine. I think that's already happened several times.
Okay, well, just in case that it is illegal, you didn't say it here.
Exactly, exactly.
How often do you do duets when you have free time, when you're not actually putting an album together and going through and doing all that? How
Mhm.
often do you do duets?
Um, I would say like maybe 2 duets every 3 months that way. Like it's not as like strict as that. I don't think I've ever put myself on a schedule, but the way I look at it with like the way I see duets is like I said, a way to keep my pen sharp, but also it's also just like engagement. Like it's something to post. As Harkos would tell you, it's very important to always have shorts ready and always be, active on your channels and stuff. And I think, yeah, exactly. Shout out Harkos. But but I think, yeah, like I think duets are a good way to keep it's engaging because not only is it showcasing your talent, but it's just a quick in and out way to post something to keep people engaged with music, even if you don't really have any music coming in the near future.
Is there an artist out there other than Amy Chella that every time they put a duet out, you make sure you jump on it?
Hmm. Um, I don't think there's any artist quite like Amichella that I know of that makes me want to jump on it right away. But I will say, like I said, the one artist that she definitely doesn't know me personally, and I don't even know if she's aware of me. Hopefully, she's seen one of the reels or one of the duets that I've done. But Stacey Ryan, like I said, is a favorite of mine that I always see because, like I said, I just love the energy she has. She just seems like such a chill person, and I would love to even just hang out with her. She just seems like a good time. So I hope she sees this one day and is like, "Oh yeah, this cool. This guy, I know him." So that's the goal. But yeah, I would say if not Amy Cello, it would be Stacey Ryan.
Have you ever personally been invited to duet someone's song?
Amy Cello. Yeah, it was because I think for me, I think Amy Cello, I believe it's her only duet that she's put out so far. But I remember when she was putting it out, or she was working on putting it out, she reached out to me, and this was I think, right after we recorded our first song together. It wasn't even out yet. And because we made that connection, that initial connection, she reached out to me and said, "Yo, I think you would sound really good on this. Feel free to duet it." And that was an honor because, like I said, this was before I could even consider her a friend. I was just a fan, and so to have her reach out to me, was really cool.
Do you think as a writer, and I'm gonna phrase this for two different genres. Do
Okay.
you think as a hip hop writer or just a writer of music that if you find yourself experiencing writer's block, duetting another artist would be a way to kind of break yourself out of the writer's
Yeah,
block?
for sure.
Do you think that that would work in other genres other than hip hop and rap?
I think so. Yeah, because like I said, I think with when you're recording and you're putting an album together, for not only hip hop artists, but artists of any genre, I think just based on my own personal experience that we all are human and we all tend to overthink. So when we're trying to make the best product possible, when you're creating something, you get in your head and maybe you've been working on it for so long that um you just feel like nothing is hitting right and you can't get a sound right and you're having writer's block. And so with a duet, it's just a quick, simple, don't think about it too much, just go way of getting that creativity out there. So I think it's a way of like whenever you're feeling like blocked, it's just a way of like just kind of spilling it out there really quickly. Like, don't think about it, just do it, kind of thing. That's how I see duets. Yeah.
Have you ever done a duet and released it or put it out to the artist and then turned around and thought, "Mm, I shouldn't have done that. I wish I could take it back."
Um, yes, there's been duets where I felt after watching it back that I didn't give my all on there or I didn't deliver it quite as well as I wanted to. So there's definitely been duets that I feel like if I were to do it again, I could do it a lot better. At the same time though, and this goes back to how I approach music in general and recording in my albums, I know artists who, and I think this was our first interview when I said this. I know artists that have amazing songs in the vault right now. And maybe those songs are at this point 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And they haven't released it because they feel like it's not good enough. And that kills me because I know personal artists who just never release the music and it's just like, you got to do it. And they'll always say, oh, I'm waiting for the right time or I'm waiting till I get better. For me personally, and like I said, everybody's going to do it their own way. So I'm not like hating on them for not releasing it. But for me, at least, um, I like to put all of my chips out there, mistakes, the professional stuff. I like to put it all out there because when I look back on my music and all that I've contributed, I like to see my progression, my slow progression into being hopefully a great artist. So I think if I look back on a video that I made in 2017, I might hate it. I might be like, "Oh, that's so cringy. I hate it." Um, but at the same time, I'm happy that it still exists and it's still there for people to see because hopefully that will show them how hard I worked on it and they can see my progression.
What have you learned from duetting just in general?
It's just been not necessarily a learning thing for me. It's just more so a reminder. So it's a constant reminder to get out of your head and don't overthink. Um, for me, I can't remember if I mentioned this last time, but like I said, I've been pretty fortunate to very rarely have writer's block. So if you ask me up until the end of last year, I can say with confidence that I've never had writer's block. Um, I've always been pretty good at finding inspiration in the small things and writing music. So that's why I've been so prolific with releasing projects because I've never had writer's block. And writer's block only came to me at the end of last year, 2025. And I think that just had to do with for the first time in my life, I was questioning if the music I was making was good enough. And that has just to do with the fact that as you know, I'm making a whole pop album, so something that I haven't done before. So duets though, going back to duets, I think at the end of the day, because like I said, I treat it as a go, don't think, just go. It's a reminder that sometimes you need to approach your recording music process like that too. Because otherwise, if you don't, you're going to get caught up and you're never going to finish that one song. So that's the main reminder that I use duets for.
Can you tell us about the best duet you've ever seen and what artists were involved?
Oh man, best duet I've ever seen. Um, okay, well, I apologize. I don't remember the name of this artist, so I'll have to find it and send it to you if I can find it. It's been a while. But there was one off the top of my head, just thinking, there was one uh rapper who I think it was it was Dex. So there's this rapper named Dex who has a song where he's talking about mental health, and he's dressed like a clown. And yeah, he's dressed like the Joker basically, and he's rapping from the perspective of the Joker. And he has these really wild expressions and faces. And then this female rapper who I her name is escaping me right now. I apologize, but she duetted it. And it's funny because Amy Chella and I both duetted this same video as well. So we have our versions too. But this other rapper who has a big following, I think she's bigger following wise than me and Amy Chella for sure. But um when she did her duet, she went the whole 9 yards. So she also dressed up in clown makeup. She dressed herself as Harley Quinn, and then she had even like a smile mouthpiece on her hand, so that when she put her hand up like this, it was like a different smile. And then she rapped from the perspective of Harley Quinn, and the rapping was immaculate. It was like the energy. She had a maniac laugh at the end of her verse too, to really show that she was in character. So it felt like not only acting but rapping as well. So it was like both, and it was like a performance piece. That's definitely one that sticks out to me as the best duet I've ever seen.
Do you think because they went the extra step and actually got into costume and almost made it like kind of sounds like a just a raw music video
Right.
to me.
Yeah.
Do you think because they put the extra effort into the duet that that's what uh, made it stick out among all the other ones that you've seen?
Um, yeah, I think so. I think for like, especially for that one in particular, like she had high production value. Like the camera quality was like top tier. It felt like a music video just watching it. Um, which I think it's really cool that she was able to do that. I guess for me, but in particular, like some people might find this backwards, but I guess because I don't treat duets really like that, like I'm not saying I would never do it, but I just think for me, I don't I don't think I'd ever dedicate that much time to a duet, because like I said, I treat a duet like a here you go on the spot, do it kind of thing. That's how I as an artist approach duets. For her, I think it was a lot more planning, calculation, and making sure that her voice was right before she did it, which at the end of the day, it clearly made an effect on me because it's my favorite duet I've seen. Um, but um, but I think for me, I like to keep duets as more of a free flow exercise for me.
What is the process for duetting someone else's song? Like the step by step process.
Mhm. So essentially, when you upload a song to TikTok or a video to TikTok of you singing a song, you would have to, like, before you upload it, I think there's an option that will say allow for duets. So right there, you can check off if you want to allow people to duet your song or video. And so if you do that, that then allows me or an artist like me that wants to duet, um, when you go on TikTok and you see that video, and you want to duet it, there's a three dot button that you can click on the video. If you click that, it will say at the very bottom left corner, it will say duet. If you click duet, that'll automatically split your screen between the video you want to duet and yourself. So you're all of a sudden your camera is turned on and it's ready to go. And as soon as you press record, it'll count down from three. I think it's like 3, 2, 1. All of a sudden you're live, the video starts playing, and then you got to do your thing. So that's what I mean by it's very like quick. Um, I think, I think for myself, like I definitely like to practice. So I definitely, before I actually hit the duet button, I just make sure I have whatever written down that I want to be written down. What I do, in particular, like I think this keeps my mind sharp too. So what I do is not only write my verse, but then I memorize it first. So it usually takes me about, I would say, maybe 45 minutes. But after I write my verse, I memorize it, and then I rap it to myself multiple times, and then only then, when I know 100% it's memorized, that's when I press the duet button and I do it. I record it, and then I post it.
Would you say that you have to be creative or have a creative imagination to be able to duet someone else's song successfully?
Um, I'm gonna sound like a hater, but I guess you don't have to be, because I've seen a lot of garbage out there. There's a lot of not good duets online. So I guess you don't have to be creative. But if you want to make something truly engaging, and you want to make something that, not to sound dramatic, but something that moves somebody where to a point where it's like, oh, I want to check this person's music out. Then yeah, I think there has to be some talent there. I think, um, I guess the only thing I can kind of compare it to would be, like a studio performance of a song versus an acoustic version of that song. So when I record a song, and I sing a song, if I rap a song, whatever it is, at the end of the day, you're wanting to make that song sound polished. So you're gonna, it's gonna go through like an engineer who's mixing and mastering you, who makes sure that all of your volumes are right, all of your levels are right. If something is off key, maybe they pitch it up a little bit, pitch it down, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of detail going on there. And then if you're doing a duet, all of that's stripped back. So it's kind of like a acoustic performance of like a singer. It's like you'll really know if a singer can really sing if they do an acoustic performance, because it's basically like there's no bells and whistles. It's just the guitar and their voice. That's kind of how I see a duet, because it shows, at least to a person watching, that, oh, this person is just naturally gifted, because they're able to sound good with just their phone, and they're still rocking that beat. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It does.
Yeah.
What is the worst part about doing a duet?
Ooh. Um, I think it's, um like everything, like all technology, it can be glitchy. So there's some times where I'll feel like I got the best take out of a duet, and I'll be like, "That's the one. That's definitely the one. I'm gonna post this one." And then when I play it back, maybe there's like a 2-second delay and my mouth's not lining up with the words. That's happened to me before, and it breaks my heart every time, because I'm like, "Oh my god, I thought I had it." So there's times where you'll have to re-record it, even if you didn't feel like you had to record it, because it doesn't come out the way it is. Because it's so quick, and because it's done so quickly, you just have to trust that technology will work in your favor. And I think you and I both know that it doesn't always do that. So that's the worst thing.
Yes, yes, we both know. We have been through it several times. Yes,
Yeah.
glitchiness is a thing of technology, especially this guy's.
Yeah.
What sort of feedback have you gotten from your fans when you've done a duet?
Um, I think, yeah, a lot of them have responded positively. Like, um, a lot of there's one particular person I remember reaching out and saying like, "Hey, I think it would be really cool if you actually did more of this sound." So I've done duets where it was good enough where I feel like people have like been interested in me exploring that sound more in my own albums and my own music. So I think, like I said, it's a cool way to experiment, see if people will even like that sound from me, and then go off of that feedback in terms of creating your next project.
Have you ever received any feedback from the other artist fan base on the duet?
I can't say I have. No, I can't say I've received any feedback. Aside from like maybe just them hearting the video, so showing that they appreciated it, like it was different. But I think because, as you know, we live in such a time where it's like instant gratification, like, okay, I'm on to the next thing. It's like 30 seconds and then I'm on to the next thing. So I think that's kind of how they view it. They view it as like, oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll come back to that later, but I'm on to the next thing for now. I think it's too quick of an information, like, TikTok is too quick of a platform for people to really take in that duet, and I think it's because of that as one of the main reasons as to why I always view it, for me, as more of a free flow project than something that I would put 100,000% into.
Has doing a duet with another artist inspired you in your solo work in any way? Like you you do your part of their song and then you come back to it and say, "You know what? I really enjoyed what I said there. I really
Mhm.
liked the way that flowed. I did something a little different to make it work for their song, but I think I like that and I think I want to try it in one of my own songs."
Yeah, yeah, that's happened numerous times. Like I said, I find inspiration in the smallest things, so even seeing the excitement that an artist can have on a particular song in a duet, seeing their faces as they react to their own music inspires me and makes me want to do more experimenting on my end. So I'm always looking for artists that push me, and I think that's how I use duets. It's like if I feel like this duet is pushing me to try something different, then I'm gonna actually one, duet it first to see if it works on my end and see if I sound good on that duet. And if I feel like I do, then I bring it to my own music.
What does an artist need to know to be a part of a successful duet?
I think the main key aspect is don't overthink it. I think it's not meant to be something to be overthunk, and overthunk's probably not a word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
and yeah,
We'll
and I
we'll
think
make it
it's
a word.
yeah, exactly. Um, and I think they
They
just have to be okay with the free flow of things. Like I said, I only say this because I have experience working with some of these artists. I've seen so many artists that care so much about their craft that they don't allow themselves the space to have fun and experiment. I'm not saying that they never have fun, and I'm not saying that they don't have the right to think the way they do, but I feel like if you're going to duet, you have to have a level of comfort in your talent that you can just make something up in 30 minutes and post it. Um, it's very quick. It goes by quickly. So I think you gotta just remember and trust your skill as the artist. So to the artists that I'm thinking of that I feel are so calculated in everything they do, I don't think duets are for them. And that's totally cool. That's fine. Like duets obviously aren't for everybody, but I think it's a good way to practice to be more free flowing because I think it will not only help in um you as a as a musician, but also just you as a person, just being comfortable with uncertainty and just kind of going with the flow.
Well, speaking of artists that are so calculated,
Mhm.
do you think those artists are having fun making music, or is music at that point turned into a job?
Yeah. Um, it's hard to say because I don't even okay. Like there's artists that I've worked with that are so calculated and they overthink so much that they never put a single song out. They just create. And so because of that, it could never even turn into a job. Like there's no possibility of it ever turning into a job because they're not putting anything out. So I guess in a way it's like being so calculated can even block you from the prospect and possibility of turning this into a job. Um, I think for me, the balance between taking it seriously versus having fun is always a fine line I'm always trying to explore to just make sure that I'm comfortable in my own skin as an artist and I'm doing the best that I need to do for me and what makes me Kalvonix.
What do you want people to understand about you based on the duets that you've put out on social media?
I want them
Or
to get the sense that I'm a goofy guy. I like to have fun. I like to be animated. And I also think that there's like a stereotype that if you're making rap music, then you think you're tough. I think for people who maybe have a stereotypical understanding of what rap music is, it's like it's tough music. For me, I've never been the tough guy. I've always been the nerdy, goofy guy. So what's always been important to me more than anything is to be myself in the music I make. And yes, I do have some songs that are very hard hitting and bass heavy and feel and sound tough. But if you actually look at me, you listen to me, you hear what I'm saying, hopefully you get the sense that you know that I know who I am and I'm comfortable not being that tough guy. And if I ever appear tough in a song, or if I'm ever like talking tough, like I'm a tough guy, it's the performative aspect of rapping too. Because as I mentioned in a previous interview, I think part of being an artist is being a performer and putting on performances. Like it's like a movie. Like a song can be very much like a movie. So Calvonix, in a way, while it is me, Kalvonix is also a character. I think it's a over dramatized version of who I really am. So if I'm feeling angry and I express it as Kalvonix, it's gonna be a very animated version of my real life anger as a person. So I think when people see a duet, I hope that they see that not only am I hopefully they see that I'm a good rapper and I'm talented, but I hopefully they also see that I'm a performer too. And I can be very charismatic.
how do you see social media and duetting changing the future for hip hop and rap?
Mm, I think it's a easier way to gain access to an artist. Hopefully, it opens the doors for collaborations to happen. Because, um, back in the day before duetting was possible, it's like if you reach out to an artist, they can only go if they don't know you, especially and have never heard of you. They the most they can do is click a song of yours, and hopefully they like it. And if they don't, and sometimes they don't have the patience to click through multiple songs. So maybe they'll click one song, and if the first 30 seconds doesn't hit them, then you're out and they say no to that collaboration, right? With a duet, it allows that artist to hear me, for example, on their song. So right away, they're familiar with their song. Obviously, it's their song. And now they're hearing this new artist. And if they like it and they're like, oh, he did something cool with that. Hopefully, that shows the artist that there's room for collaboration there. That's what I hope duets will do for the future of making music with other artists around the world.
Do you plan on continuing to do more duets?
Yeah, I think I'll always use it as a way, like I said, kind of like a quick lyrical exercise to keep me sharp. So I do hope to continue to do duets in between albums and as I'm working on albums.
All right. Well, I told you this was going to be a little bit shorter than
Right.
most of the interviews that we do. Um,
Yep.
so if people want to find out more about you doing duets, find out more about you, I mean, just go ahead and let everybody know again all your social media contacts and especially where they can find out or find your duets again. Let's make sure. Um, and then we'll get on to that famous last question.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, so you can find all of my duets on TikTok. I go by Kalvonix. So if you just type in my name, Kalvonix, you'll be able to find all my duets there. I also post my duets on YouTube. So if you're on my YouTube channel, Kalvonix Music, under the shorts tab, you'll see all my duets posted there. So be sure to check it out, and more music is always on the way.
All right. Well, staying in the vein of duets, what are two questions you wish I would ask you about duets that I didn't? And what are the answers to those questions?
Hmm. I guess one question would be, what is a feeling that has ever come up for me that would be unexpected when going through duets? And the answer to that would be jealousy. Um, there's been times where, yeah, for sure. Um, for me, I think staying in the vein of being competitive and always wanting to be the best version of myself. And while I'm not a competitive person in the sense of I always want to like beat the next artist or whatever. But as a rapper, you do have that bit of you that wants to be the best and, want to be the one that shines the most. So sometimes I'll go through a duet that I duetted, and I'll look through and see other artists who have also duet that same video, and I'll just witness a skill level that I feel like I don't have, or it's just like, holy crap, this person, why didn't I think of that? Like, and I'll be like, oh my God, why didn't I do that? And so there's definitely times where it's an easy way to go down the rabbit hole to see how talented people really are. So, like I said, there's a lot of garbage out there, but there's also a lot of talent out there too. So jealousy is definitely something that I can openly admit, and I definitely have felt it before while going through duets for sure. Um, and then a second question would be, is there any artist that I hope will duet me in the future when I eventually put my duet out? Um, and the answer to that would be, I'm I hope that when I eventually put out a duet for one of my rap songs, because I presume it's probably going to be a rap song whenever I'm ready to do it, I hope that Amy Chella can return the favor
I knew.
and, of course, do it. Yeah, I think she will. I think we're friends now, so I think she feel like she'll have to do it. But I also feel like I hope there's another artist that I look up to and I'm constantly inspired by. There's two. There's Yellow Bunny being one of them. She's also local. I think she lives in Ottawa now, but she was local. And I hope that she's able to duet one of my songs because she's a constant inspiration for me. And then another one is a artist named Rebel I, who is on my albums. We went to high school together, and I've always felt like he was a better version of me as a rapper. So I always want to hear what he can do on a song of mine.
Well, since you know Amy Chella, why don't you just go ahead and pick one of your songs and put
That's
it
true.
put it out there and just see what kind of damage she does.
Exactly. No, that honestly, now that you said that, that's true. It's as easy as that. So I got to get on that.
I would definitely tune. You're gonna have to text me, message me, call me,
Yeah.
shoot me an email, something. Do all the above when you get
Yeah.
ready
Yeah.
to do that because I
Sounds good.
really enjoy seeing that because
Awesome.
I really enjoy y'all separately. The number of
Hmm.
times I've spoken with each of you, I really enjoy talking to y'all. You're you just you sound like really good people, and I really enjoy
Appreciate it.
talking music with good artists that are good people, and it makes me enjoy doing these interviews that much more. And seeing you two together, just battling it out on a
Hmm.
song would just be so cool, and I'd love to sit down and talk to both of y'all. Just real
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on doing something like that. But I know you got things to do. Excuse me, and I got to get out of here and take care of some storm cleanup. So,
Right.
all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're up against the clock for this interview. And if you enjoyed this interview, if you'll leave me a like and a comment below. And if you didn't enjoy this interview, if you'll leave me a thumbs down and a comment below and let me know why you didn't enjoy it. And if you would like me to ask Mr. Kalvonix any questions in our next interview, which I'm sure will be coming up here pretty soon, if you'll leave me a comment below and let me know. And we will talk to you next time. Cheers.
Cheers. Have a good one.
All right, you too, sir.
When I loosened up the tether. Either pay or you leave. Don't let him take a chance with your life now. Fill your mind with that greed. Shit gets dark, don't need the lights out. Either obey or you lead. Don't let him take a chance with your life now. Fill your mind with that greed. Shit gets dark, don't